Hello everyone, in this video I will explain about manner of articulation. Manner of articulation refers to the nature and type of airflow obstruction involved in the articulation of speech sound. For the major factors, the manner of articulation is particularly defined by four major factors. The first one, whether there is vibration of the vocal folds, voiced or voiceless. And then the second, whether there is obstruction of the airstream at any point above the glottis. Here refers to consonant versus vowel. And then the third is whether the airstream passes through the nasal cavity in addition to the oral cavity. And the last factor is whether the airstream passes through the middle of the oral cavity or along the side. Articulatory types within consonants based on the type of closure made by the vocal organs. The first one, if the closure is complete, the result is a plosive, affricate, or nasal. And then the second one, if there is narrowing without complete closure, the result is a fricative. And then the third, if the closure is partial, the result is a lateral. And the last one, if the closure is intermittent, the result is a tap or trill. But here, I would like discuss further about type 1, 2, and 3. Here are the summary of consonants, especially in the category of manner of articulation. Here you will see the term sonorants and obstruents. An obstruent is a consonant sound formed by obstructing, stopping, or causing turbulence in the airflow, causing increased air pressure in the vocal tract. And obstruents are prototypically voiceless, though voice obstruents are common. While a sonorant is a speech sound that is produced with a continuous and turbulent airflow in the vocal tract. These are the manners of articulation that are most often voiced in the world's languages. Vowels as your information and as your notes, vowels are sonorants, as are approximants, laterals, nasals, taps, and trills. In the sonority hierarchy, all sounds higher than fricatives are sonorants. For fuller explanation, here you are. So, manner of articulation of consonant sounds divided into four: occlusives, fricatives, liquids, and glides. In occlusive, there are two types: stops and affricates, are partially occlusive, and then stops itself consists of plosives and nasals. For plosives, as in the sound of p, p, t, d, k, k. Okay. And for nasal, there are n, ung. And affricates. Here the examples sound like ch, ch. And then for fricatives, There are two types, sibilants and non-sibilants, and then liquids, divided into lateral and rotary. And the last one, glides, that is approximant, frictionless, continuance. The first one, nasal. For this to happen, two articulatory actions are necessary. Firstly, the subpalate or valve must be lowered to allow air to escape past it. And then secondly, a closure must be made in the oral cavity to prevent air from escaping through it. The closure may be at any place of articulation from a bilabial at the front of the oral cavity to uvular at the back. So nasal consonant is one in which the air escapes only through the nose. Remember, nasal consonant sound escapes only through the nose. There are three nasal consonants in English: n, ng. Here are the examples: mat, clamp. When you produce as oral passage is blocked by closing the lips, and then in sounds n, like in the word no and man, oral passage is blocked by pressing tongue tip against the alveolar ridge, and then going, and fang. Oral passage is blocked by pressing the back of your tongue against the soft palate. How about plosive or stop? In many ways, it is possible to regard plosives as the most basic type of consonant. They are produced by forming a complete obstruction to the flow of air out of the mouth and nose, and normally this results in a build-up of compressed air inside the chamber formed by the closure. When the closure is released, there is a small explosion that causes a sharp noise. Plosives are among the first sounds that are used by children when they start to speak, though nasals are likely to be the very first consonants. The basic plosive consonant type can be exploited in many different ways. Plosives may have any place of articulation, may be voiced or voiceless, and may have an aggressive or inaggressive airflow. The airflow may be from the lungs, from the larynx, or generated in the mouth. Stop. This term is often used as if synonymous with plosive. However, some writers on phonetics use stop to refer to the class of sounds in which there is complete closure, specifically in the oral cavity. In this case, sounds such as n, and are also stops. More precisely, they are nasal stops. The airflow is not redirected through the nose. Instead, the air quickly builds up pressure behind the articulators and then releases in a burst. English contains the following stop consonants: p, p, t, d, k, and g. P, for example, burst and rap. Oral passage is blocked by closing the lips. Back, cap. Oral passage is blocked by closing the lips. Tap, rat. Oral passage is blocked by pressing the tongue tip against the alveolar ridge, so on and so forth. Fricative. The quality and intensity of fricative sounds varies greatly, but all are acoustically composed of energy at relatively high frequency. An indication of this is that much of the fricative sound is too high to be transmitted over a phone, which usually cuts out the highest and lowest frequencies in order to reduce the cost, giving rise to the confusions that often arise over sets of words, like English. In the words fin, thin, sin, and shin. In order for the sound quality to be produced accurately, the size and direction of the depth of air has to be very precisely controlled. While this is normally something we do without thinking about it, it is noticeable that fricatives are what cause most difficulty to speakers who are getting used to wearing false teeth. A distinction is sometimes made between sibilant or strident fricatives, which are strong and clearly audible, and others which are weak and less audible, such as th, f. BBC English has non-fricative phonemes: f, th, s, sh, h, voiceless, and then f, d. This type of consonant is made by forcing air through a narrow gap so that a hissing noise is generated. This may be accompanied by voicing, in which case the sound is a voiced fricative, such as s, or it may be voiceless. S. The English fricative sounds are as follows: th, the. Sorry, the first one should be th. The second one, the. Thine, have, and then th, like in thick and puff, and then d, the, rather. Air is forced through upper teeth and tongue, like in suit and bus. Air is forced through tongue and alveolar ridge, s, 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 or s, like in zip and jazz. Air is forced through tongue and alveolar ridge. You can feel it when you pronounce the sounds. And then sh, sh, like in shot and brush. Air is forced through the tongue and point just beyond alveolar ridge. And then sh, sh, fission, measure. Air is forced through the tongue and point just beyond alveolar ridge. H, happy, Hope. Actually, h is an affricative. It's technically not even a real consonant sound, since there's no constriction or obstruction of airflow. And then affricative. An affricate is a type of consonant consisting of a plosive followed by a fricative with the same place of articulation. Examples are the ch and ch sounds at the beginning and end of the English words church, judge. The first of these is voiceless, the second voiced. It is often difficult to decide whether any particular combination of a plosive plus a fricative should be classed as a single affricate sound or as two spirit sounds, and the question depends on whether these are to be regarded as spirit phonemes or not. The English affricate sounds are ch, ch, like cheek and match. Air is blocked with tongue just beyond the alveolar ridge, and then released as a fricative. Then ch, like in jam and patch. Air is blocked with tongue just beyond the alveolar ridge, then released as a fricative. And then approximant. Approximants are when two articulators come together but not quite close enough to create air turbulence. The resulting sound is more like a fast vowel than anything else. For example, the approximant is like a fast u, like a o sound. Say I really fast and you get the word y, 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 right? Notice how your tongue never actually comes in contact with the top of your mouth. There are three English approximants: v, v, wet, and hover. Back of tongue rises to value, and lips are rounded. Next is y, like in yes, value. Tongue rises to hard palate, but not too close. The last one is er, like in right, roar. Tongue rises to hard palate, but not too close. And the last one is lateral. In English, the all phoneme is lateral, both in its clear and its dark allophones. The blade of the tongue is in contact with the alveolar ridge, as for a th, d, or n, but the sides of the tongue are lowered to allow the passage of air. Consonant is lateral if there is obstruction to the passage of air in the center or midline of the passage and the air flows to the side of construction. When an alveolar plosive precedes a lateral consonant in English, it is usual for it to be laterally released. This means that to go from th or d to o, we simply lower the sides of the tongue to release the compressed air, rather than lowering and then raising the tongue blade. For example, turtle. Most laterals are produced with the air passage to both sides of the obstruction or bilateral, but sometimes we find air passing to one side only. Other lateral consonants are found in other languages. There is one lateral consonant in English, l. For example, lock. Place the tip of the tongue at the alveolar ridge.